Hello, welcome back to Mastering Statistics. Here we have our familiar problem with the age of children and the diapers. And we're going to learn how to use Excel's built-in functions to calculate the correlation coefficient that we've done manually in the last section. So if you haven't watched the last section, go back and watch it now because I talk a lot about what it means, what this equation means. And now we'll use Excel's functions. Before we do anything else, let's go ahead and highlight the data and plot it and see what it looks like. So we go and highlight the data, we go to Insert, go to the charting area, hover over the scatter plots, and select scatter plot. So this is what it looks like, and we'll drag it up and out of the way here. And we can see, just like we did from the last section, that the data more or less is a negatively sloped linear relationship. It looks very linear to me, and we already calculated the correlation coefficient from before. So now we're going to do it in one step. So let's put the answer right there once it calculates the answer. Now what you need to do is go to Data. The Data tab is right here, and then over here is Data Analysis. Now if you don't see Data Analysis in your Excel, it just means you need to install the Data Analysis tool pack. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, but it's not automatically installed. So just go to Google, type in how to install Data Analysis Tool Pack. It depends on your version that you're running, but there's some steps in the menu. Click a few buttons, maybe download something, and then it's there. It doesn't cost anything. So go ahead and click on that. And for those of you who've watched my lessons in the past, we've used it for analysis of variance, ANOVA. Here we're going to use it for correlation. So we're going to hit that button and hit OK. And then it's going to ask us, what is the input range? So basically it's asking you to go over here and highlight the data, and it's going to group it into columns, X and Y, like this. And it's actually asking you, is the data grouped in columns or rows? Of course, it's columns for us. If you were to include the labels in the first row, which you could, then you could click that there. And it's asking you, where do you want to put the answer? You can stick it in a new worksheet or a new workbook. We're just going to put it in an output range. So click this button and then click right there, which tells it you want to stick the output right there. D9, that's what we have. And hit OK. And what it does is it publishes this. Now, what it's really telling you is what is the correlation coefficient between column 1 and column 1, right? Well, the correlation coefficient between the data of column 1 and itself is a perfect 1, right? Because it's in a straight line, right? And we said the correlation coefficient of 1 is when it's trending up and all the data points fall on the same line. So when you're comparing column 1 to itself, you get a 1. When you're comparing column 2 to itself, you also get a correlation coefficient of 1. Basically, those are nonsense. But when you compare column 1 and see how it correlates in comparison to column 2, you get an answer of negative 0.98172, which is exactly what we found in the past, negative 0.98172. So there's not much more to say than that. You know by now that negative correlations mean sloping negatively. The closer to negative 1 you are, the closer it seems that these points lie on an actual line. And it's very far away from 0. So we think this data is highly correlated. I want to reiterate again, it doesn't mean that the age causes the diapers per day. We're not saying that one of these variables causes the other. It's a really common thing in statistics people get wrong to say that they think one thing causes another. We're not saying that. We're just saying that these data points are related linearly, essentially is what you're saying. We'll get into causation later and what causes something else later. Right now, we're not saying they're caused. We're just saying that there's a relationship there. All right. Now let's go to the next set of data that we have, and we're going to go ahead and zoom in here. So let me go to View, Zoom. I'll just kick it up to a little bit just to